Hey everyone, welcome to Sip with Shareen as we sit in proximity with a particular topic, and this week's topic is weary. We're going to sit in proximity to those that are weary. I have my oat milk latte and I got some cute little pocket, I think they're like pocket cookies with filled, I don't know, jelly in them. They're so good. It's like my favorite thing at Podestos in Stockton. So this week, anywho, we are sitting in proximity to those that are weary. So let's take a deep breath in and exhale, because this year and 2020 have just been really hard years. And for some, it's been kind of like a desert season of just life happening and happening very, very fast. And so some of us are weary, and we're weary because we've been doing a lot of good things and we're trying to be good leaders through a really difficult time that, nobody's really led through. These are uncharted waters, we know all that, but doesn't make it easier. And so we find ourselves being really challenged and really weary. And there is a character in the Bible, Moses, that we find him a little weary and doing good. And so that's what we're going to unpack at this moment in Exodus chapter 17, verse 8 through 16 is what we're going to unpack. But before we kind of jump into that particular story, I want us to take a look back to what Moses has already gone through. He's taken the Israelites out of Egypt. They fled Egypt. He's parted the Red Sea. They're in the desert. It's hot. It's stinky. And you got a bajillion people with you. They're complaining. They need food. So he gets some food, manna, quail, and then they need water. So he gets some water, and they're complaining throughout. And so, it's just like these times of being a leader, it's really hard, but there's about to be a fight. And that's where we're going to pick up the story. And the Amalekites are coming after the Israelites. And so Moses, Aaron and Hur, and Joshua all have a conversation in verse 10. And that's when you kind of see them having a plan of action. So Joshua is going to go at the valley floor, and Aaron, Hur, and Moses are going to go up to the top. And he is going to pray. Moses is going to pray. And so we see this unfold. And it says in verse 11, as long as Moses held up his hands, the Israelites were winning. And so we see Moses in this position of surrender, of just a petition of prayer and just, openness to the Lord with his hands up and held up. And so we see this image, and that intimacy that I talk about is he realizes that if his hands are up, we're winning. If his hands are falling down, we're losing the battle. And what I like in this story is two characters, Aaron and Hur. And it says this in verse 12, when Moses' hands grew tired, they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held his hands up, one on each side of the other, and they remained there, steady, it says, steady till sunset. So you have Moses, who's done so much, so many great things, leading people, making decisions, praying, talking with God, and then you see him in this battle. And only Moses is commissioned to do that. Only he is anointed to have that intimacy and that power and that authority. And Aaron and Hur realize that. And so that's why they roll up the rock and give him a place to sit. And that's why they recognize that, we're going to have to hold up his hands because he needs our help. And I love that Moses accepts his help because he's so focused on his calling and what he is anointed and commissioned to do, that only he can do that. He's not going to fight with Aaron and Hur like, hey guys, no, I totally got this. Like, it's okay. I'm stronger than you think, whatever that might be. He accepts the help because he's so focused on what needs to be done. And he's humble enough to say, you know what? I do need a place to sit, And I do need someone to lift up my hands because I cannot do this alone. Yes, the Lord is helping me, but he sent me two BFFs to get me through this. And Aaron and Hur change their proximity because they're watching, they're looking, they're listening, and they're moving towards a man that needs their help. And because they're in a position to do so, they have that intimacy with Moses and they're seeing it firsthand. And I just love that because a lot of us are exerting a lot of energy of doing good things. You're getting yourself up, you're going to work, you're taking care of your family, you're leading the way, you're making hard decisions. And you know what? So proud of you. You're doing the best you can, and yet you are finding yourself really weary and tired, like a tiredness that like your soul just feels. And so that is okay because we know that when you're commissioned by God, that there's going to be weariness that comes with it. But God also sends you an Aaron and a Hur or someone in your life that you can accept help from. I know you can accept help because if I can accept help, you can do it too, sis. And it's hard to accept help, but I think we can be creative. So if you're an Aaron and a Hur, awesome. You're gonna be able to bless someone, whether that's finances or just a meal. And I think that we can get creative with this. And here's how. If you are able to bless someone and take out, a meal for them for the week, you can be really simple, right? You can call that person up and say, hey, I'm ordering pizza for you guys on Friday night. Do you guys like cheese pizza or pepperoni pizza? Hey, I'm gonna bring over dinner. Do you guys like hamburgers or cheeseburgers? What do you like? Or hey, I'm picking up a salad. Do you want the salad dressing on it or on the side? I'm going to Starbucks. Do you want your regular drink or do you want something else? Kind of direct them into making a decision within that frame. I'm going to do this. You have this option or this option. I think that's really helpful because sometimes when people are weary, a couple of things happen. Sometimes we just don't know what we need. Sometimes we're just, I don't know. I'm just not sure. And that's okay because if you're an Aaron and a Hur, pray for that revelation, for God to reveal how you can bless someone. And you know what? God can give you that intimacy or that insight that you need because you have intimacy with that person and with God. And so I think that could just really bless someone over the next couple weeks. But I also think that if you are a Moses and you're called and you're commissioned, accept the help because you won't be able to do everything. And so the question you should probably ask yourself is, where can I save some energy? Is it the chores? And believe me, I don't like living in a messy house, but I'm not going to lose my peace over dishes. I'm not going to lose my peace over laundry. Sometimes it's, I just need to take a nap. Sometimes I just need to eat a good balanced dinner instead of eating junk. Where can you save some energy in the things that do not truly matter? So I'm going to leave you with this last thought. There's 52 more days in 2021. I know. Take a breath in, exhale it out. What are you going to do in the next 52 days? In verse 15, Moses built an altar and called it, "The Lord is my banner." So what are you going to do in the next 52 days? What will be your banner? Is it just going to be a year of weariness and tiredness? Or is it going to be a time where you're going to start resting, taking a Sabbath, learning to, accept the things that you cannot change, sit in his proximity and his intimacy of the things that matter? Are you going to do that? Are you going to be able to be like an Aaron and Hur and say, you know what, some of my friends are really weary because they've been called and commissioned to do only what they can do? How are you going to bless them? So as we sit in proximity to, each other and God this week, as we sip on this topic of sitting with the weary, how are we going to do that in a really practical way? And so, as always, I hope that you're challenged. I hope that you're energized and living well and living blessed as we live out the rest of this year. What is going to be your banner over 2021?